Kia ora, Bronson Parrish. Welcome to the Chrysalis. Still at home, taking the day off. Not feeling too well, so thought I'd hit you with a video. I'm getting a few private messages from people asking me on how to get started with Bitcoin. So I realized that my initial video may have skipped over some of the most important steps to getting started, so I want to try and fix that with that video today. Now understand that if you are already trading with Bitcoin, this video is not for you. You already know what you're doing. This is going to be a super simple guide that anybody can do, as long as you've got an internet connection, ability to access the internet, and a New Zealand bank account. You can do everything that I'm about to tell you, right? Now, once you get started using the steps that I have shown you, and you get a bit of experience, you may want to access some of the so-called crypto marketplaces, exchanges, and so forth. When you get to that point, just drop a comment on the video here, and then we can cross that bridge when we get here. But what I'm finding right now is that there are people that are they're absolute beginners, and they want to know how to get started in New Zealand. So I'm going to talk about that because I think we all know how to do it in the States. You Aussies, you know how to do it, but it's a bit tricky here in New Zealand. Okay, so I'm going to start off with asking you the same questions that I ask anybody that wants to get into Bitcoin. The first question is, what exactly is your understanding of Bitcoin? Okay, so the second question is, if you were to lose $25, would that cause financial strain for you and your family? Yeah. And the third question is that, do you save regularly? Right? So if you don't quite have an idea of how cryptocurrency works, what I recommend you do is actually forget cryptocurrency and just learn how normal currency works. Understand what fiat currency is, and understand how it operates here in New Zealand. That's your first step, because the easiest way to say it is this: what goes on in the real world goes on in the digital world. Okay? So what happens with fiat currency can happen with cryptocurrency. In other words, what can happen to the $2 in your pocket can happen with $2 worth of Bitcoin. There's hardly any difference. There may be technological differences, but in a sense the results will still be the same. Now, that's because what I see is that a lot of people who are getting confused about Bitcoin are also people that are confused about money in general. You have to understand what money is before you can get into this game, because you'll need to have the knowledge to make specific decisions as to when to buy, when to sell, how to buy, why to sell. And without having a basic knowledge and experience of what money is, a lot of this is going to be Chinese to you, right? Now, and the other thing too is that if I only recommend that you invest money that you can afford to lose. Now, nobody wants to lose money, right? And not me in the least. But if I was to lose $25, I wouldn't be homeless. It would not cause extreme financial strain to my wife and I. However, if losing $25 would cause you financial strain and cause stress to you and your family and your loved ones and your dependents, then I'm going to suggest to you that your problems are actually bigger than what Bitcoin can do for you. Now, understandably, Bitcoin is an avenue for wealth, and that is one of the reasons that I get into it. Cryptocurrency in general is a pathway to wealth, but you need to be abiding by the principles of money in the first place. Right? You have to understand what money is and how to use it. Otherwise, it really doesn't matter, because you won't have the knowledge and the experience to be able to make the right decisions, and you will lose a lot of money. So it's better that you understand that Bitcoin is not your financial messiah. Bitcoin will not save you from money trouble. If anything, it will probably bring it out and accentuate it, like with most investment things, And if you look at what happened in 2007 with the housing market crash and all that stuff, and a lot of that boiled down to, hello, whoever's watching, a lot of that boiled down to the fact that people were making bad financial decisions because they didn't understand the way that the financial system worked in their country, and people at the top were taking advantage of that ignorance. I mean, sure, the American banks were put in a position where they were pressured to give loans to people who probably shouldn't have loans, but let's just say this: Wall Street was in a pickle, and they made hamburgers, and they sold the hamburgers and the pickles and the buns, and then people, that's happened, right? So, just right. Anyways, and the last one is, do you save? Right? Do you save? Now, it doesn't matter whether you're saving $1, whether you're saving $5, whether you're saving $10. The point is, you need to be regularly saving. Consistently is the best, but as long as you're saving. You see, because before you can do any sort of investment, you have to learn how to save. Because how else will you get the money to invest, right? And if you're using your own money that you have saved, this is money that you've sacrificed. Therefore, you're going to be a lot more cautious with it than if you're just using OPM. Now, yeah, sure, there is an avenue for using OPM, other people's money, in order to invest. But what I will say to you, though, is that the majority of financial market crashes in the past 200 years have taken place because people were using OPM to invest instead of using their own money. So be careful, and saving is important. The habit of saving, the consistency of saving, it's really important, right? So when I first approached Bitcoin, I saw it as like this, right? I save New Zealand dollars on a regular basis, so why not save portions of Bitcoin on a regular basis, right? So I saw Bitcoin as my virtual piggy bank, right? Now, you guys have probably noticed that the returns for term deposits are crap, and the interest rates on banks are pretty crap at the moment. So the whole idea of putting money in a bank and then growing it with interest is, it's not going to do any good for you. Banks aren't paying much in interest these days because they don't charge much interest, to be honest. And so, right, my strategy is that I have I'm going to say three asset classes, but technically it's Bitcoin, right? So my first asset class, right? And asset classes are the things that you have that have a monetary value, yeah? So the first asset class that I have is cash. And I've got about, at this moment, probably got about 400, right, in my savings at the moment, right? Because I only get paid $16.50 an hour, right? And so I just save regularly, yeah? And that's an asset class. The cool thing about New Zealand dollars is that it has a high liquidity, yeah? Now, liquidity is your ability to get rid of it, yeah? Like water, right? Now, if you freeze water in a bottle, it's hard to get out, yeah? Whereas if you look at this, right? The water flows, yeah? So having assets with high liquidity is good. That way, whenever you need that money in a hurry, you can just liquidate the asset, sell the asset, get the cash, pay your expense. So I have cash, yeah, and cash is cool. Now my second asset class are my bitcoins and my cryptocurrencies, right? And this is stuff that I play with. Now I don't have all my money, all my assets in Bitcoin, because one day Bitcoin's going to crash, and if it does, which I believe it will, if I put all my money into it, all my money's going to die. It's all going to go, right? So I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket, right? In fact, the majority of my assets are in cash, right? And then I have a small amount of Bitcoin, because that way I can play around with it, I can get to know it more, I can grow it, and I've had some massive growth, with the small amounts of money that I have in Bitcoin and other currencies over the past few weeks, right? But my main core cash savings are still safe, right? And that's what you got to consider too, right? And in investment terms, they call that diversification. Yeah. So when you hear people talk about having a diversified portfolio, what they're basically saying is invest in more in several things. So if one dies, then you're going to be okay. Now the third asset class that I have, and if you're an employee and you are in New Zealand, you have this asset class too, right? It's your KiwiSaver. Now KiwiSaver is a really important asset. Now, understandable, KiwiSaver is a great thing, but it's pretty much the ultimate pimp game in New Zealand, right? So, savings are good for a nation. And so, what the Helen Clark government did under the supervision and the vision, I guess, of supervision, because it was super, of Sir Michael Cannon, was that they created a superannuation fund, where a small portion of your wages would be taken, right? And then that would be given to a group of investors that either you could choose or the government would choose for you, and they would multiply and grow that money. Yeah? Sounds like a great idea, but here's the thing, right? You can't touch that money unless you're like flat broke, like borderline homeless, like gonna be bankrupt and broke. That's the first thing you have to understand, right? The second thing is that a lot of your gains, a lot of your growth, right, is going to be taken up in the various fees that the financial institutions that manage your money. So in other words, right, you're working hard for that paper, and then some dude that you haven't even met is getting the cream of that paper, and you're just getting the milk, right? And by the time they're taking out the cream, it's not blue top that's left. You're only getting that yellow top or that green top. And I don't know about you, but I don't like green top milk. I don't know what yellow top milk. I like blue, I like grey, or I just don't drink water. Water's better for you than milk anyways. So if you're gonna drink stuff that's bad for you, go all the way. Full cream. Anyways, right? But the great thing about KiwiSaver as an asset is that if you're looking to buy a house, right, your bank or whoever is going to lend you the money is going to say, what are your assets, right? So in my case, I could say, oh yeah, sweet, I've got about 400 worth of cash, I've got about 15 grand in my KiwiSaver, so that's about 16 grand in total, and then I've got a whole lot of stuff lying around my house, which I guess I can scrounge maybe be worth 5 grand. Yeah, so got about 20 grand worth of assets. Now the majority of that is an asset that I can't touch unless in special circumstances, like being absolutely broke, having to buy a house. That's one of the advantages that KiwiSaver has, right? That you can say that you have good assets. And when banks look at you, when they want to lend you money, and they see that you've got KiwiSaver, they say, oh yeah, sweet, he doesn't get much money, but he saves. It's important. Oh, wait, am I back? Here, we're back, right? So that's the cool thing about having KiwiSaver as an asset class. I call it a paper asset, yeah? Okay, now back to Bitcoin, yeah? Okay, so this is what you need to do to get started. Step 1, get a Bitcoin wallet. I used to use BitPay, I still use it, but not exactly the biggest fan. Alright. Now there's another one that I have on my phone called Coinbase. Right, and I'm going to post links for all these in the description, so don't stress. Right. So get yourself a wallet. And the reason that you need a wallet is that before you can get Bitcoin, you got to have somewhere to put the Bitcoin. Just like how you have a real physical wallet, right? You got to have a wallet for your digital money, for your Bitcoin. So get yourself a Bitcoin wallet. BitPay is one. Now, what you'll also see is that there are some places where you can buy and sell Bitcoin that also have a wallet built in. So one of the marketplaces that I use, LocalBitcoins, actually has a wallet built in, and most, if not all, of the exchanges have them too. So get yourself a wallet. And I'll just, in the description when I write it all up, I'll have some of the links for wallets that I have, and then you can just have a play with them and see what you like. Now, after you have got yourself a wallet, you then have to find a place where you can buy and sell your Bitcoin. Right? Now, I started using MyBitcoinSaver, which is a really simple, easy to use program. Now, you don't get the best prices, right? But what you get is automation. I put $20 in an account, right, every Wednesday, and then on the following Monday, MyBitcoinSaver will take their money while I put it into their account through my automatic payment, and then the following Friday, I get Bitcoin put into my wallet. Easy as, right? That's how I started. That's how I want to recommend that you get started, so that way you just get in the habit of buying, right? And the cool thing about MyBitcoinSaver is that the minimum purchase for Bitcoin is $10. So if you're not super confident with Bitcoin, why not start off with $10 worth, right? If you can spare $10 a week, you're better off than the majority of New Zealanders, right? And so you are able to get into Bitcoin. Now, as your Bitcoin accumulates, right, you will see that the worth of the Bitcoin will fluctuate. Sometimes it's going to be worth a lot, sometimes it isn't. Since I started getting into Bitcoin, right, it was around about 11 or 12. One Bitcoin was worth about 11 to 12 New Zealand dollars, 11 to 12,000 New Zealand dollars, and it's now at about 23, something like that, right? It fluctuates all the time, right? So, but the main thing is just to get in the habit of buying it, just the habit of getting it and watching it grow, right? Because your Bitcoins can be like a saver, right? You save cash, you save Bitcoin. It can be the same, because that's how I first started. Now, when you've accumulated a bit and you notice that the price that you bought your Bitcoin for, right, is higher, sorry, the price of what you bought your Bitcoin for is lower than the price that it's available for it now, then you know it's a good time to sell, right? And then when you notice that the price of Bitcoin has dropped, then you can actually buy some more. So one of the things I've done with my MyBitcoinSaver is that when I notice that the price of Bitcoin has dropped, I increase the amount of what I buy each week. And then when the prices are crap, I just drop it back down again, right? Now, one of the things that MyBitcoinSaver will do for you is that when the Bitcoin is delivered to your wallet, you'll get a text message which tells you the price at which your Bitcoin sale was calculated, right? So if you're buying, let's just say an example, you buy $20 worth of Bitcoin and the price is 20,000 New Zealand dollars for one Bitcoin, then you get 1,000 of a Bitcoin, yeah, or you get like 1% of a Bitcoin, yep. Now, what I'll do is this, I was going to go into dollar cost averaging, alright, but what I'm thinking is that the video's almost been 20 minutes. If you want to know more about dollar cost averaging, put a comment below, and then I can either make another video or I can just send you a message about it, right? But the main thing is just to get in the habit of buying Bitcoin. So we're going to go through the steps again. Number one, get a wallet. Number 2, find a place that where you can buy your Bitcoin. Number 3, find a place where you can sell your Bitcoin. And the 4th step is always make sure that the price that you sell your Bitcoin for is cheaper than what you bought it for in the first place. I know it sounds really simplistic. I've made it like that deliberately. There is a lot more to Bitcoin, by the way, but I want to keep it real simple for you, because once you can get the hang of those 4 steps, then you are ready for the next video. Right? If you think this video has been useful, please share it around. I want this video to get into as many people as possible. I'm actually going to be writing a book. Well, I started writing a book on Bitcoin, working my way through the first chapter. And it's going to give the basics on how to buy and sell Bitcoin in New Zealand. It's also going to have a guide as to how to avoid, how to spot and avoid some of the scams that are out there. Because there are a few Bitcoin scams out there, and I don't want you to be affected by those. Some people just leave it up to the individual to live and learn, but when it's people's money at stake, I think that you deserve to know how to spot and avoid a scam. That book now, it'll be dropping 1st of March 2017, and I'll be giving people the opportunity to get on an email list, so that way they will be able to pre-order the book at a discounted price. Now, if you're interested in the book, Kindle book on Bitcoin, please just comment in the video on the lines below, book, right? That'll be cool. Otherwise, share the video out. If you're a serial YouTuber like myself, please subscribe. If you're a serial Facebooker, please just share the